Hi, welcome to Zion Messages. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope that I can have some good conversation and be able to benefit you. So I'm going to be talking, I think I'll start off with homemaking and how I've been processing that and thinking about that in my mind, and maybe some of it resonates with you, and how there has been a shift towards people being homemakers more, but it's still fought against, and it's hard, and it goes against maybe what we've been seeing for so long, for the past decade or two, of just women have the power of go out and do those things, but really prioritizing how important it is to be at home. I also want to talk about conflict. I went through something this week that taught me a lot, and I'm excited to share some of those nuggets that I learned, and probably some things that could really help you. It's hard. Sometimes it's just hard, and your feelings can be really hurt, but it's possible to get through. I'm also going to talk about AI affirmations. I did some AI searching with ChatGPT, and I thought it was a really positive thing, because it is a tool, and it could be a really good thing. And I was trying to figure out, okay, how can I get past this mental block I have right now? Feeling a little bit weak, but I need to have a mantra or something in my mind to keep myself going. And when I bounce off these ideas on AI, it just helped me create that. So talking about this micro bakery that I'm thinking about starting, just out of my home, and just something small, because there's already a lot to do in life, but I feel called and happy to do it, and it just enlivens me. So I'll talk a little bit about that, and kind of mention what I'm going to do for my next video. I really think I'm going to be doing that. I wanted to do it today, but I have to do it at a time when my family is not home, and I can show you things around my house, and I'll explain what that would be. So let me jump into this idea of homemaking and how I love doing what I do. I love being a stay-at-home mom. Of course, there are times where it's really rough, but I know this is all I ever want. And the Satan still comes in, and it doesn't even make sense, like making me feel like I'm less than. But I feel like, as I've seen across the the internet, this shift towards Christian homemaking and really making it so positive and beautiful. And I still struggle with getting myself to the point where it's I feel confident to tell people and acknowledge myself as someone that does that. I do, but I don't. And I feel like it is the hardest job, so why wouldn't I get myself that credit? And so it's conflicting to me, and I'm trying to figure that out. And what I have found is that God is asking me, and I have a friend of mine, and I love seeing how she has evolved, and she has gone through infertility issues, and now she has 5 kids, and she's so excited. She had 2 kids and then had infertility issues, and then she had 3 more. But so she has had this different mindset of homemaking and being a stay-at-home mom, especially with them being, pretty young. I think your youngest is like 2, or maybe a year and a half, and it's just a lot, and then she has twins in the mix in there. So part of that is she has gone on this wild journey, I feel like, this wild journey to love motherhood. And I love listening to her stuff that she puts on Instagram and writes about. She's not an influencer. She's actually my friend, and she really just puts up this stuff all the time that helps me have a perspective of why we do what we do. And she is so nurturing, and she sometimes will say, of course, as every mom does, like, I don't have it figured out. She does, because she has her heart in the right place, and I love it, and I'm here for it. So I liked that idea of giving it some good thought process on it, and having God take me on a journey to help me truly fall in love with this and what I do, and being confident, and also finding joy, because that's my word of the year, is finding joy. And I think in God, I have had that prompting, like, yeah, you really, like, And also, I think as part of what she's done with sharing it and voicing it and talking about it a lot, that's kind of like teaching it. So you then become someone that believes it because you've taught it and you've learned it to the fullest extent. Because once you finally teach it, it's like you've learned it to the fullest extent, right? So that's maybe what I'll be doing here. And I have kind of mentioned that, and I do lean towards that. And as an example today, as I have to do many times, I'm sure many of you moms listening to, taking the time to assess and discern what your kids need. And it was a beautiful afternoon. You wouldn't think it now, but the sun just crawled down over that mountain over there, and now it's getting a little chilly, but the sun was bright and light, and it was like 40 degrees out here, or 45, and it felt so good. And there's puddles of water all across my property, but right now it's just snow. But then the puddles of water that will harden over the night. And so I took time to play with my daughter, and I think that's what she really needed, and that's what's most important. And we went on the trampoline over here, and it was warm enough to really enjoy it. I still had a jacket on. She actually went and changed into shorts, and that's just how she is. So I thought that was fun. But and really trying to discern all those needs that they have, and for myself too. And I really felt like I wanted to create something right now. I was so tired of doing all this cleaning in here just now. I had to anchor in this nail into my wall for our electric vacuum. It was wobbling every time it was on that setting stand for it. It just wobbled, and so I had to do that. And I talked with the mom that she took my daughter to their house, and they're playing, but the daughter was here first. So I've been doing all these other things, and I got a text from someone that needed some help, and it's all these things, but I'm like, I need something for me. So that's kind of what I'm doing right here if I'm not coughing too much. So I feel like creating is what motherhood is, and I love watching the content sometimes online. I don't always have time to do it, but because it's so beautiful. But the times I do have an extra moment to like watch these videos of these Christian homemakers and the tips that they give and the feeling that they provide, and it really inspires you to want to be better for your children, to create a home, create the place of the Spirit, and to allow for God to just be in your family's life. Oh, this is so cool. There's like a group of ducks or geese flying over here. That is so cool. So I just feel like that's what I want, and it's not going to be perfect, so I'm trying to accept that, but I'm a perfectionist. So in that same line of what I'm talking about though, of motherhood and just kind of having a peek into what I do and being a stay-at-home mom, that means I make sacrifices and I don't live as the world lives. And so I watched this video also recently, and it wasn't about, she's not a homemaker channel, but she's a homestead channel, but you can tell she likes to be self-sufficient, and she is a stay-at-home mom, but she does the stuff on YouTube, and she lives in Montana somewhere, and she took a walk around her house, and she just kind of explained how they live the way they do, and maybe over here this is what they use, this is the different food choices that they use because they are a little less income because she stays at home, or this is why they have these cars and what they look like, and this is what the wardrobe looks like, and it's not perfect, and just real, but then also showing kind of the tips and tricks in order to really make a family function in such a innovative way. And I have some of those ideas, and you can kind of see just how we function as a family. And I am a minimalist, and that's what's kind of hard, is I see the world shopping and doing all these things, having stuff, and the consumerism, and actually I just can't bring myself to get to that point, but I want to in some way, and I kind of need to, because I need to decorate. I want to decorate a little bit more inside our house and create it as a home. And it's just tricky thinking, I don't want to spend like $300 at Hobby Lobby to get some things, and then that's not even all it's going to take if I really did want to bring it to a point of what I would like it to be, though it doesn't need to be perfect. It's just hard to really always shop around and find the great deals or thrift or garage sale or whatever. And so in my mind, I'm just like, I just want it to be decorated and done so I can move on, and maybe I could just go and drop off some good money over there. But like I was saying, I am a minimalist, and so it is harder to shop. I don't want as many things, but I want it to look decent. So it's a part of with moving into a new house, right? And so some of the ways I am a minimalist, we don't have a car wash membership. I don't wear a watch. I used to one time, a long time ago, and I just said, nope, I can't do this. After a few months of doing it, it always notified me, and it made me so stressed. I realized we don't have as many subscriptions. I have like Spotify, and I really want to get rid of Disney Plus, but my husband doesn't. So things like that, like not very many. And I don't buy too many protein powders all the time. I mean, I'm just telling you random things of I don't buy sodas. I think that's a huge thing here where I live. Like everyone that gets their sodas. I don't do sodas, and we don't have nice cars, and I don't hire out cleaning. I do it myself. I've never hired out cleaning, and I've never done DoorDash. And we eat out, but we're always looking for a coupon, and it almost is so stressful, so then it ends up not being like what it should be for an eat out. But we do sometimes, of course, go to like Texas Roadhouse, and it's really nice. But I don't do a ton of shopping, but sometimes, you know, the kids' activities aren't as embellished and grand, and with me saying that, I hope that doesn't mean I'm trying to say what you're doing is worse or better or whatever. I'm just saying for me and what works for my family. But it could be something that could be helpful if you're striving to be someone that's a stay-at-home mom, so you don't have all these expenses. But I am the manager of all these expenses, and I look at our finances on Wednesdays every week. I quickly pay off our credit cards all the time, just use them and then pay them off, and manage just seeing what we're at. And I use this app called YNAB, YNAB. You Need a Budget is the acronym. So that's the name of the company, is You Need a Budget. And I loved it. I've used it for about 3 or 4 years, and it really helps me stay organized. So yeah, that's part of what I do, and that's why I feel like God knows I can, because I have a minimalist mindset already, and so that kind of goes into the being a stay-at-home mom anyway. So I'm not pining to go have a boat or pining to go on girls' trips all the time, like, because I'm already a simple person as it is. So that's kind of my mindset there, and I will maybe do a video about it, and I'll show you around the house a little bit. And she did it in such a great way, and I'll see what I can do. But next I wanted to talk about oh yeah, maybe I'll talk about my bakery, of what I've been thinking. So I'm thinking about calling it Double It Home Bakery. And reason why I thought of this, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it, is because it calls to my heart. And the story behind it, with it being called Double It, is I thought to myself, I don't need to put up a farm stand. There's these other places around here. I think now that I'm out in the country, more people are doing more of these cottage style things, so it inspires me. And there is this one girl that has this little farm stand, and I love it, and I've bought stuff from her. But it inspires me to think I want to do something like this too, because I actually desire it. And I have, as I was sick this last month, I did some self-reflection, and I was thinking about what are some of those things that always have stayed true to me of what I love to do. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. What do you always end up gravitating towards anyway for your hobbies of what you enjoy, and it brings you joy? And for me, that is to bake. I love to bake, and I always have. And the main thing I love to do about it is trying new recipes and seeing how I do. Of course, I go back to those ones that I have done before, and if I'm going to be selling it to people, I don't want to necessarily always be trying something new unless I really feel pretty confident. But so what I'm going to do is, instead of having a full-fledged little micro bakery with making sure I have orders, or I go farmers markets, or I have a farm stand, or people are always wondering when I'm going to do it every week, I'm doing it on my terms. And I'm doing it because I already make a dessert every week for my family, or I already make bread for my family, and I already make those homemade tortillas that week, whatever. And I can just double it. And And it's not novel, but for me, it just made sense. And even to call it that, Double It Home Bakery, where at least, for example, I'm thinking about making my first one I'm going to be making this weekend and then selling it quickly after that is raspberry cream pie. So I was inspired by this raspberry cream pie that I tried at this ranch house nearby. We had this gift card to a ranch house that has wonderful, yummy pies. And they had raspberry cream pie. And I was like, I'm going to make this someday. I can't find their recipe, of course, but I'm going to find, and I already have found a decent recipe. And I've learned how to make some really good pie crust because I made some blueberry pie this last week. Now that I've been better, I'm like, I'm going to do things that make me feel happy and make me feel fulfilled. And I love creation, and it's always been this way for me with baking, that I actually make it and I don't even end up eating that much of it. I of course I eat it, but it's the journey and like the challenge that I really enjoy, and actually sharing it with people and be like, look what I did. Like, I'm kind of like a little kid, like, look what I did. And I show it to my husband. He's like, cool, yeah. And of course he gets the benefit. And another benefit of it, if I make these raspberry cream pies and blueberry pies and other things, I will have a better reason to make it, because my husband does not like fruit in his desserts, but I do, and I desire to have those, but I don't necessarily want to make a whole pie and no one eats it. So I was thinking of making, for example, I'm gonna make 2 raspberry cream pies, and we as a family and just a couple of my kids end up liking it. It's split in the middle. Us girls in the family, me and my 2 daughters, like fruit in our desserts, though my son and my husband, as men a lot of times do, I don't want to say all men, they don't like fruit in their pies, I guess. And so I'm gonna have 1 pie and half it for me and my girls, and then I'm gonna sell the other half as slices, like 2 or 3 slices. Probably I'll do it, I might sell it as a quarter. I haven't decided, so I'll sell half of that in slices. And I bought in boxes at Walmart of those to-go boxes, and I'm gonna have to account in for that for the pricing of it, and also how much it took me to make this, because it's not cheap making raspberry cream pie. Honestly, the frozen raspberries, all the cream and the cream cheese, and the box that I had to do to put it in this nice box. So I'll account for that, and then also my time and effort in it, making this even worth it. But it's not really even about the money. It's just the idea of actually doing it, and it's exciting, and it's easy to do, that I can just double it, and I can just then put it on Facebook and tell a few people, and the word can kind of get around, and it'll go quickly, because I'm just selling a few slices and the pie, 1 whole pie. So I'll make a bigger chunk of money on that whole pie, and I'll sell each slice for like $5, $6, $7, depending on, like, if I decide to do a quarter pie or something. So that's what I was thinking about doing, and reason I share it. It's a story to help inspire you, and it helps you. It helped me to understand what has always called to me that I love. And it's not like I'm now gonna go be a big home bakery, because I also know I'd get tired of it if I really did have like my own bakery. But at least it's something I could do weekly, and I'm gonna plan it where every week I'm doing my dessert that day, and I just double it, and it will take some effort. And partly what I like about it is that I'm going to be able to deliver it with my kids. My kids will see this, and they will be part of it, and I'll be able to deliver it to these neighbors and people that I get to talk to them, and I'm actually inserting myself into the community and showing that I have something to show and give to them, and I want to help and bless them. And a lot of people, I think especially out here, when people put up little stands or something, they go quick because we're further away and we can't like go get something real fast. But it's like, oh well, if we have it right here, someone made it, and it's actually farm fresh or made it fresh in someone's kitchen, it's awesome. So that's kind of my thought process, and it made me so happy. I was thinking about the name and what pictures I'm gonna put up on my little Instagram. Like I'll just make like a separate little Instagram page for it, and I'll just put some of those pictures that I already take all the time. Every time I make these nice desserts, I always take a picture, and my husband's like, "You're so funny." You're like, no, it's like I did it. It was a lot of work to make that blueberry pie, and I did the lattice. It was so fun. So just researching about it is learning, and yeah, that's just kind of how my brain works. I love a good challenge. It's really fun. So then now let's go into something a little less less fun, I guess, but it is very important. It's this idea of conflict. And I had to go through an experience this last week where I had a conflict. And it came to a realization for me that someone had hurt my feelings, and I needed to share that with them. And the Spirit kept telling me, like, you should probably share that. And it was very legitimate, and it's been over months that it's kind of been hurting my feelings. And sorry, maybe I should go inside. I'm pretty cold. Okay, I'll stay. I don't know what will go on if I walk in there. So everyone will be like, Mom, I need you. So I decided I was going to share it with this person and say, how I felt, and try to do it in a calm way as I can, and using I statements as I say, like, I feel this way. When you did this, I feel this way. When that happened, I felt that way. And see how they respond. If they love you, they would respond in somewhat of a decent way and be not defensive, and hopefully be open to what they want to do to change. But also for me, being open and not too sensitive. But I felt like in this particular instance, I wasn't being too sensitive, because it has happened for a while, and it was actually one thing that was more a part of a bigger picture, as it usually is. Oh, I'm too cold. I have to go inside. So I'll keep explaining it as I go in. But I did feel like if you do set up that conversation in such a way that's actually going to work and be helpful and constructive, you're actually doing it to have a bit of connection and to make the relationship better, and to actually, you care about the relationship, that you're not trying to sabotage it. You're not trying to call them out. If you do it in the right way, you're actually trying to make it better. And I think that's where this world sometimes goes wrong. We just want to avoid conflict altogether. And so we just become so shallow in our relationships. And thus, because people don't have those hard conversations, like, I'm just gonna put that under the rug. I'm not gonna deal with that, and maybe I'll just distance myself from them so it doesn't hurt as bad. So thus, and this is how it goes with a lot of like sibling relationships, whatever, and cousins or whatever, like people that you should really keep in your life, and of course friends, but then it kind of dissolves. It's not anything like it used to be, and that's sad. Maybe because one of those people or both have decided we don't want to talk about those hard things. But even that, it maybe it's just your priorities too. So it's hard to always keep up all the relationships. So where it matters, and especially this one mattered, I stood up for it, and I was like, because I love you, I need to share this with you. And that was hard. And I was acting on a prompting. It kept coming to my mind, and it was hard. And in the sense, I felt like I was kind of calling out something, and I don't like to think I'm the one calling something out. It didn't go the greatest, but it didn't go terrible. And I'm still hopeful. And that's what my husband asked me about after. She like, so what do you think you're going to get out of this? I kind of explained to him the situation, and I told him, well, because he goes, it probably, what if it doesn't turn out the way you think, and what you're hoping for? What will that do for you? And I think that's a perfect question to always be asking ourselves. What will it do for you? And for me, it was that I had said what I needed to, and do all that was in my control to help make it better. But the ball's now out of my court, because I have had that conversation, and that was hard. But I couldn't live with myself anymore, because I was kind of stuffing it for a long time, and I was being true and brave, I felt like. And I felt God tell me, and as it was really hard and difficult, as I said the prayer for it, and many times, like, yeah, I felt that feeling like it's being brave to do this, and that's good to do. And not being a doormat, like, it's not the same. Peace is not, it's not peace if you don't say anything, but you needed to, and it really mattered. So that's part of what I went through, and I did have some support with my husband and someone else that really helped me as I talked through it, and it's so great to have that, and I'm really feeling grateful. But it just seems like it's a problem that's probably always going to be there, and it's hard. But I will keep loving this person, because I should always, and I love them. So anyway, I want to talk next about the AI affirmations that I had mentioned. So I did, I was feeling pretty low about myself at one point, because the gravity of not feeling accomplished over that long of being sick, and like it does something to someone's soul. I think I talked about it last week. It kind of came on to me on a weekend. And I was like, I don't think very highly of myself. And I was feeling pretty down. And I had to go talk to my father about it and have some time with him. And I just feel like I wasn't keeping up for some people in my life that maybe hope for me to keep up. Anyway, but then AI, I just thought, you know, it's such a creative tool that can gather all these things. If I just tell it that I'm feeling this and this and this and this, and I even want it to have the gospel of Jesus Christ in the mix of it, and how important it is to involve that Christ is actually the way to help me change through this. It'll come up with some one-liner sentences for me so that I can have it as a mantra to help me. And I did. It was beautiful. And I can share with you some of them because and I am capable. Let's see. I honor my own path thus far. This person may not understand, you know, who I was, you know, sometimes it's hard. I was talking about with some people. This person may not understand, but I do, and especially my Savior. And to also say I'm grateful for that person. And AI helped me figure that out. It was really cool. He has guided me through every hardship before, and he will continue to do so. And just these things have been in my mind to help me, and I've been really grateful for that. So use that as a tool at some point. And also to read your patriarchal blessing. I had had the prompting to read my patriarchal blessing, and for some reason I thought about, I kind of want to write down a list of all these these verbs that are in my blessing. So I want to share with you some of these verbs, and that it just helped me feel accomplished that I am able to do so. So I did rely, resist, diligent, like being diligent. You even have the word influence in there. Honor, accomplish, effort, help, share, learn, study, to know, to teach, work. So for you, it might have similar ones, but even more, whatever it is particular for you. And reason I also felt like I wanted to read my patriarchal blessing is because the one scripture that is quoted in my blessing is the worth of souls. And that's what we're studying this week in Come Follow Me. And so D&C 18 is a special chapter for me, because I do believe very strongly in this idea of the worth of souls. And yeah, it's something that I will always believe in, that joy, and especially with my word of the year being joy. I feel very grateful to have God given me that in my blessing, help bring attention to it, that the worth of souls is so great. And I'm worth that too. I need to put myself in that category. And and it also talks about how great will be your joy when you bring those to you. And I don't feel like I'm a big, powerful missionary, so I hope I can do better. But I have some folks calling me. I think I'm gonna go kind of cut it short today, and I'll do that video next week. And thank you for listening, though. I hope it was helpful for you. You guys take care. Bye.